Hello, good morning. In the previous class, we are calculating the unit 4. We are studying unit 4, and in that, we are taking the Maxwell thermodynamic relations. We have already understand the four Maxwell thermodynamic equations, and after that, we are starting the new topic, that is the Clapeyron equation, that is also known as the first latent heat equation. So, the equation dP by dt is equals to L divided by T V2 minus V1. So this equation is first derived by the Clapeyron. So that is why sometimes by using the Carnot reversible cycle. So this equation is derived by using the concept of Carnot reversible cycles. That's why this equation is sometimes known as the Clapeyron equation. Okay. So whenever there is a change of state, that means from solid to liquid state, or the liquid to solid state, or the solid liquid to gaseous state, so the temperature remains constant. Okay, we already know that when there is a change of state from liquid to solid, solid to liquid, or liquid to gaseous, or the vapor state, the temperature remains constant as far as the changes takes place. Whenever the changes takes place, the temperature remains constant, and this temperature, it may be either melting point or the boiling point, depends upon the pressure, because when the pressure increases, we know the relation between the temperature and the pressure, which we already discussed in the previous classes. That means this temperature depend on the pressure, and it is the characteristic of each substance. Pressure is the characteristic of each substance. So that's why the above relation shows that how the melting or boiling point depend or vary on the temperature, vary with the pressure. That means melting or boiling point vary with the pressure, and how it was vary with the pressure and was first derived by the Clapeyron by applying the second law of thermodynamics. So this concept is studied by using the second law of thermodynamics, and later after that, firstly it was derived by the Clapeyron by applying the second law of thermodynamics, and after that Clausius obtained the same relation by using the Maxwell thermodynamic relations. So, and this is the first latent heat equation, very well-known equation, that is the Clausius-Clapeyron equation. So, firstly derived by the Clapeyron by using the Carnot reversible cycle, and secondly, or the second law of thermodynamics, and secondly the same relation is derived by using the Clausius. So, that's why this is commonly known as the Clausius-Clapeyron equation, by using the concept of second law of thermodynamics and the Maxwell thermodynamic relations. So, the derivation of this equation. So, we have to prove this equation, that is the Clausius-Clapeyron equation. So, that's why we know that the second law of thermodynamics, that is second law of thermodynamics. So, we have to prove this theorem. So, by second law of thermodynamics, by second law of thermodynamics, by definition of second law of thermodynamics, we have del S by del V at constant temperature is equals to del P by del S, del P by del T at constant volume. So this is the, by using second law of relation, second thermodynamic relation. So this is the second thermodynamic relation. Second thermodynamic relation. That is the Maxwell second law of thermodynamics. Del S by del V at constant temperature is equals to del P by del T at constant volume. So multiplying both sides by T. Multiplying both sides by T. So we get T into del S by del V at constant temperature is equals to T into del P by del T at constant volume. So, but we know that according to second law of thermodynamics, by second law of thermodynamics, of entropy, we know that del Q is equals to T into del S. That is, del Q is equals to T into del S. So put this value in the equation. So therefore this T into del S is nothing but the del Q. We get del Q by del V at constant temperature is equals to T into del P by del T at constant volume. Okay. So this quantity del Q by del V at constant temperature represent the quantity of heat absorbs or liberated per unit change in the volume. That is, this is the change in volume. That means the quantity of heat absorbs or liberated per unit volume at constant temperature. Okay. So as there is a change in volume, due to the heat absorbed at constant temperature, the heat represents the latent heat used when the substance changes from solid to liquid. We know that in the starting of this topic we show that we are telling that I am telling you that is whenever there is a change of state, that is the heat liberated or heat absorbed, there is a change in volume. But this change in volume, as there is a change in volume due to heat absorbs or liberated, so the heat represent the latent heat used. This heat is nothing but the latent heat used when the heat or absorbed or liberated. That is nothing but when the substance changes from solid to liquid, or solid to liquid is nothing but the melting point. That is mean the solid melts into liquid, and whenever liquid to vapor, it is called the boiling state when the temperature remains constant, because in the equation temperature remains constant. So that's why here we are during the change of state the temperature remains constant but the volume changes. So if L is the, we know that heat absorbed or liberated at constant volume, temperature constant. So this heat is nothing but the L. So if L is the quantity of heat, this L is the quantity of heat required to change the state here. L is the quantity of heat required to change the state of a unit mass of the substance. Here we are taking L. L is the quantity of heat required to change the state of unit mass of the substance, and V1 and V2. V2 and V1 are the volume of initial and final state. That is the corresponding are the specific volume. We are taking here specific volume, or here V2 and V1 are the corresponding specific volume. Corresponding specific volumes, that means specific volume is nothing but the volume per unit mass. Specific volume is nothing but the volume per unit mass. V1 and V2 are the corresponding specific volume, that is we are taking unit mass substance. So that's why here volume per unit mass, that is the V2 and V1 are the corresponding specific volumes, that is the volume per unit mass. So therefore this heat is nothing but the latent heat. So that's why del Q is equals to L. This del Q is nothing but the L. L is the quantity of heat required to change the state of the substance, unit mass of the substance, and this change in volume del V is nothing but the V2 minus V1. that is the specific volumes for this L, specific volume, corresponding specific volume when the quantity of heat required, that is the V2 minus V1. So therefore this equation can be written as this dQ is nothing but the L divided by V is nothing but the V2 minus V1 is equals to here T into del P by del T at constant volume. Okay. L divided by V2 minus V1 is equals to T into del P by del T at constant volume. So therefore this del P by del T, therefore del P by del T is equals to, this is the equation which we have calculated, dP by dt is equals to L. So here this T is the multiplied term, so gets the denominator, that is L divided by T into V2 minus V1. But this is the small change, so that is per unit mass. So in the total we can write this dP by dt is equals to L divided by T V2 minus V1. So this is the equation we have to prove, that is dP by dt is equals to L divided by T V2 minus V1. So this is the Clausius-Clapeyron equation. This is the only simple concept. This is the important concept, is the L, that is called the latent heat. So when we have dt is the change in temperature, that is the dt is the change in temperature, that is when the state of the substance change solid to liquid, that is the melting point, or liquid to vapor, that is the boiling point, due to the change in pressure. When the pressure changes, the temperature changes. When temperature changes means state of the substance changes. Okay, so this is the Clausius-Clapeyron latent heat equation. Okay, I hope all you understand. This is a simple equation, first latent heat equation, which already derived by the Clausius and Clapeyron. That's why it is known as the Clausius-Clapeyron equation. In the next class, we will see the initial function, that is the internal energy function, Gibbs function, Helmholtz functions, all that is called the thermodynamic potentials functions. So which we will see in the next class. Thank you.